I'd like to first take a moment to start with land acknowledgements. It's important for us to acknowledge the traditional territories in which we live and work as a part of our commitment to decolonization and TRC calls to action. We acknowledge the land that we are meeting on, which happens to be Toronto, is the traditional territories of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, Haudenosaunee, and Wendat people. Toronto is also home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis people. We also acknowledge that Toronto is covered by Treaty 13 with the Mississaugas of the Credit. And we share 2 links in case you want to learn more about your native lands and traditional territories in the chat. Okay, just to give you a background about eCampusOntario, most of you know, eCampus is a nonprofit organization funded by the government of Ontario that leads a group of 53 publicly funded colleges, universities, and Indigenous institutes. Our goal is to promote the use of educational technologies and digital learning environments, particularly through our department, EdTech Sandbox, where we created a safe and risk-free space for institutions to experiment with educational technology tools. Sandbox portal that will drop a link in the chat, so many links to share, help educators to discover tools, pilot them for the short term, and explore their pedagogical potential, review their capabilities through our standard assessments, and adopt technologies by accessing community support channels, resources, and product information. Please drop us an email if you have any questions or feedback about the program. Our colleague will, thank you very much for sharing the email in the chat as well, and feel free to join our community space. The focus for today's webinar that is sponsored by CCI Learning is to highlight a tool that we believe can create value for digital teaching and learning. Since the pandemic, our focus at eCampusOntario has been on digital transformation. Technologies such as CCI Learning support that mission to help educators and support staff deliver exceptional digital experiences for learners. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce Jessica from CCI Learning. Jessica has over 15 years of cross-industry experience in strategic sales, leadership, process improvement, and customer experience. She is currently the National Business Development Manager at CCI Learning. Her mission is to implement academic, corporate, government certification programs that provide learners with the technology skills needed to stand out in the competitive workforce. Jessica, the floor is yours.
Awesome. Thank you. Hi, everyone. Thank you, Mo, for the introduction. And thank you, everyone, for joining us today. As Mo mentioned, my name is Jessica. I've been working with CCI Learning for just over 3 years now. Some of you may already know me from the Micro-Credential Forum. Others may know me from being customers of CCI Learning. For those of you that don't know me, it's great to meet you. My colleague Natalie has also joined us today. She's going to be helping me answer any questions in the chat, as well as dropping some helpful links. So CCI partnered with eCampus actually back in January to showcase our interactive learning course through Experienced Ed, or XEd. And we have a great topic up for discussion today, which is preparing learners for the workforce with interactive learning and micro-credentials. I'm curious to know actually how many people on this call today actually hold a micro-credential or a digital badge. So we are going to share a poll with you in the chat. So please share with us your experience on this topic. On the agenda today, I will give a brief introduction to CCI Learning and provide an overview of the Experienced Ed platform. I'm going to talk about the various learning styles we offer to students and the partnerships that we've fostered over the years. I'll also be showing you a few programs that are already running in your community and how you can get involved. So CCI Learning is an education technology company that has been working with schools to provide interactive courseware, practice tests, micro-credentials, books and ebooks, as well as educator support and training. We're best known as developers in courseware, and we recently released our new kinesthetic online learning platform, Experience Ed, which offers a unique in-app learning experience for Microsoft Office and Adobe, and offers a prescriptive pathway that allows students to learn at any place and any time. CCI Learning is partnered with Certiport to deliver practice tests and industry-recognized credentials here in Canada. We'll explore a few of these topics later in the call. However, you can see we have credentials for applications in Microsoft Office, Adobe, Autodesk, Intuit. We also cover topics such as project management, entrepreneurship, communication skills, Cisco, IT specialist. Natalie will drop the link for the full list, and Mo is going to add another poll in the chat where you can share with us these topics that are of interest to you. This will help me later in my presentation when I dive a little bit deeper. Natalie, can you let me know how many people actually held a certification?
Yeah, so we got exactly 50% of the people who had already held a micro-credential.
That's awesome. That's good to see. So a lot of you are very familiar with this topic, which is lovely. So let's look into the learner's journey. CCI focuses on a learn, practice, and certify methodology. The first step is using Experience Ed to enhance your curriculum through interactive learning. Second is adding practice tests to gauge a learner's micro-credential readiness through simulation tests. And finally, micro-credentials to validate the learner's knowledge in various topics. Breaking down that first step, CCI offers a fun learning environment through XEd. XEd provides students with in-app, interactive, and simulation-based learning. The program issues milestone achievements to celebrate those wins along the way to certification. We provide full instructor resources such as course mapping, lesson notes, PowerPoint presentations, and more. The program will automatically grade your students' work, giving them live in the moment feedback, and will have access to full reporting features. Finally, our courses align to exam objectives so that you can be sure your students cover all areas that they could potentially be tested on. Once the student has completed the learning component, they move on to practice tests. We all know that the more you practice, the better you become. So G-Metrix practice tests help build confidence in your students and can actually increase their passing rates by up to 60%. We offer a full suite of learning so students can study various topics at once. G-Metrix has study guides where students can review their results and narrow in on each question to see where they need to focus more of their time. For the teachers out there, G-Metrix offers fully customizable tests, allowing you to align them with your current curriculum and use test scores as a final grade, as well as full reporting features. Once your student is scoring a 60 to 70% on their practice tests, they should be ready to go and take an official certification. Moving on to that last component, which is validating the knowledge with micro-credentials. So keep in mind, micro-credentials are for everyone, and anyone who takes an exam will receive a digital badge for each topic they've taken. These badges can be posted on your social media, which allow employers to see your proficiencies, or they can be used to upskill and seek opportunities within your current employment. The credentials are stackable, meaning you can follow certain pathways and attain master certifications. The credentials are very addictive. So once a student completes one, they typically want to know what else they can do. And because of that, we've already mapped out some pathways for your students to follow. Natalie will share a link to the existing pathways, and I'll explore a few of those later. Finally, exams can be taken online or in person, making them flexible for hybrid learning. So let's dive into Experienced Ed, our kinesthetic learning platform. So although I've touched on a few of the features and benefits already, I always find it better explained when someone shows me. So I have a 6-minute video that I'm going to play that will highlight more in detail the value of hands-on learning. The video is available on the Sandbox website for anyone who wants to go back and watch it, or if you'd like to share it with someone who wasn't able to make it today. Now, bear with me, I'm leaving my PowerPoint, and we all know that things always, when you're sharing your screen, don't go as we want them to.
The summit is what drives us, but the climb itself is what matters. Conrad Anker. When it comes to education, there's not always an obvious trail. That's why plotting a course between points, predicting your pace, and planning routes are key to navigating the terrain successfully. To help educators and learners alike, CCI Learning, a leader in instructional technology, is moving mountains. We're excited to share XEd, our kinesthetic learning platform. It's designed and developed so you can experience education differently. These are just some of the many features and benefits that XEd offers. XEd is a browser-based platform that can be accessed anywhere, anytime, and on any device, including PC, Mac, Chromebooks, and even mobile phones. Looking for a learning solution that's LTI compliant? We've got you. XEd integrates seamlessly with LMS systems such as Canvas and Blackboard to manage and deliver courses more effectively. You can create, organize, and assign XEd content within the LMS, including track learner progress and generate reports, all from a centralized interface. XEd is also integrated with G-Metrics for an end-to-end experience. We understand the importance of differentiated learning. XEd is built to be inclusive to all learning styles with embedded ebooks, quick deck flashcards, and quick clip videos. Immersive Reader is also built in and has several benefits, including enhanced reading comprehension, a personalized learning experience, support for learning course language, improved accessibility for diverse learners, independent learning, and wide availability through integration. Some of the benefits for instructors include instructor resources like course syllabus, unit plans, PowerPoint slides, pacing guides, answer keys, and warm-up, extension, and unplugged activities. These resources free up valuable time to focus on helping learners reach the peaks. Grading can seem like an uphill battle. Auto-grading allows for compass recalibration to shift your footing to more essential activities. What better way to predict learner pace? Progress reporting takes the guesswork out of the equation. Some of the benefits for learners include a kinesthetic learning framework that enables learning by doing. Courses offer in-app, simulated, and/or interactive learning experiences with real-world activities. Learning doesn't have to feel like the summit isn't attainable. XEd offers fun and engaging activities and learning tools that make the climb seem effortless. Plotting your course is crucial to reaching the peak. To support your climb, all XEd courses are mapped to Certiport's exam objectives. Practice in anything is key to developing your skills and ensuring you reach your achievements. That's why XEd is integrated with Cert Prep practice tests powered by G-Metrics. Some of the many available courses geared toward K-12, higher ed, and workforce development include Microsoft 365 apps, IT specialist courses such as Python, Java, JavaScript, and HTML and CSS, ESB, CSB, QuickBooks Online, Intuit Design for Delight, Microsoft Fundamentals courses such as AZ 900, SC 900, and AI 900, Digital Literacy, Adobe suite of products. And finally, Project Management Ready. In partnership with Certiport and PMI, CCI Learning has developed Project Management Ready curriculum to ensure content is constantly evolving for all new next-generation exam objectives. All XEd courses are available in the top 5 languages for certifications and meet global standards. Languages include English, Spanish, French, Dutch, and Arabic. CCI Learning has created XEd to support the Learn, Practice, Certify trifecta. Combined with Gmetrics and Certiport products, XEd is a comprehensive and powerful solution that enhances the instructor experience and boosts the learner experience, preparing them to earn important micro-credentials. These micro-credentials will set them apart and set them on the right course to reach the pinnacle of their success. Climb the mountain with us. Experience education differently.
So as you can see, XEd has a lot of helpful features. I've taken the 3 most valuable to elaborate on. The first is the kinesthetic learning. For programs such as Microsoft Office and Adobe, we offer a unique live-in application learning where the course is built into Excel or Photoshop, and the learner is manipulating data and working with real-life scenarios. We have entrepreneurship and communication skills, where we set up an interactive learning, where you'll experience drag and drop, crosswords, and fill in the blanks. And finally, simulated learning. We have QuickBooks and live-in coding for Python. The courses are task-based, so the lessons will be short in duration, meaning they're concise, and usually lasting between 2 to 10 minutes. Our content is focused, so each micro-learning lesson addresses a single learning objective or a specific piece of information. Under personalized learning, we know that everyone has a different level of knowledge, so all courses have a benchmark embedded that creates a prescriptive pathway unique to each learner. XEd will take the benchmark results and create lessons based on what they don't know. Courses are no more than 40 hours. However, proficient students may have a shorter course after completing the benchmark. If you want all students to have the full course, you can simply turn the benchmark off. As the learner begins their lessons, they get to choose how to consume that content. We have embedded an ebook, flashcards, and videos. Once they've reviewed the study material, they're given a task to complete right away that validates that piece of knowledge. This slide is to help you visualize where our programs fit into employment pathways. So we have career paths such as manufacturing, where you see Autodesk, information technology specialists. We have software for digital literacy, information technology, Microsoft Certified Fundamentals. For our business students, we have the Microsoft Office specialists, entrepreneurship, communication skills, and of course, project management. For our graphic art and photography, you'll see Adobe, Unity. For IT and communication, we have a lovely exam called English for IT, information technology specialist, and of course, our Cisco support technician. For arts and culture, again, you're going to be seeing that Adobe Certified Professional, Microsoft Office, project management, and of course, Meta. Keep in mind, all of our courses are aligned to industry-recognized micro-credentials. And not only do we partner with Certiport, but we work with partners such as Microsoft and Adobe, PMI, Cisco, to deliver technology skills across Canada. And it's important to note that these credentials are developed and issued by the developer themselves, not CCI Learning, not Certiport. You will hold a certification issued by Microsoft, Adobe, PMI, Cisco, and that holds a lot of weight in the workforce when the developer has deemed you as proficient. I want to dive a little bit deeper into who our partners are and help you determine topics that are a fit for your organization. So earlier, Natalie, we had she had shared a link to the certification page. I'm going to head to that website and kind of show you around a bit. And that way you can go after this call and explore the different titles that we have. Natalie, can you tell me which titles were the most popular selected in the poll while I head over to the website?
Yes, so we have Microsoft Office and project management. The poll is still going. So now what I'm seeing, project management, we have 65%.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So from this navigation site, you can simply click the title that is most of interest to you. So I'm going to click on the project management because that seems to be the one that everybody was most interested in. So it takes us straight to first an overview page where you can just read a little bit about the project management and to see if it's a fit for your program. Next, you'll want to head to this hamburger menu on the left-hand side, and you'll want to click the Certify tab. From here, you're able to read about the exam and actually download the exam objectives. I'll make this a little bigger for you guys. Once you have your objectives open, you can take your curriculum and compare it to the objective to see if what you're teaching aligns with what the industry standard certification is asking for, to make sure you set your students up for success. Back to our hamburger menu, you'll see the My Pathway tab. So in here, I mentioned earlier that all of our certifications are stackable. So what that means is as your student starts to get more and more of these certifications, they can gain masters. So if you have a student who wants to follow this assistant project manager pathway, they can get 5 out of 5 of these certifications. So project management, Excel, Outlook, and Word, and communication skills. And they will receive an additional credential titled Assistant Project Manager. And they can flash that badge on their social media and call themselves an Assistant Project Manager. We also have the badging. So if you wanted to see a little bit about what those badges look like, you can simply click on badging and you can see who that badge will be issued by. So in this case, it's going to be issued by the Project Management Ready. We have resources as well. So once you're ready to start marketing your program, you do not need to recreate the wheel. You can come here and you can print any of these pages and put them in your bookstore, share them with other educators, share them with your students. And finally, the endorsements. So if you want to see which companies have actually endorsed these certifications, you can simply come and take a look at that as well. So again, you can just simply go to the certification page and you'll be able to explore any of those titles that would be of interest to you. As you are exploring what titles you could offer, you also want to consider delivery. Organizations have found a lot of unique ways to engage colleagues, students, and even community members. I have a few examples coming up on the next couple of slides of some really powerful programs and events that are currently happening. First up, we have the Canadian Microsoft Office Specialist Championship. So for years now, CCI Learning brings together the best of the best in Microsoft Office. We test the top students from various schools across Canada in each category of Word, Excel, and PowerPoint to compete against one another. We offer cash awards, medals, and certificates to first, second, and third place winners. We invite the teachers or proctors to the ceremonies as well so that they can come and show their support. Our next competition is actually coming up on June 5th, and we have many schools from the Western region as well as Ontario participating, such as Durham, Centennial, Seneca, Georgian, and even TDSB. You can follow CCI on LinkedIn if you want to stay in the loop about any of our future events. In the K-12 space, we have the Toronto District School Board. So TDSB has purchased Experience Ed, Practice Test, and Credentials for all SHSM programs. One school that took the program to the next level is Harvard. They've implemented a business club that is led by students. The club allows students to plan information sessions, post on social media, create slide decks, and coach other students to micro-credentials. They've certified almost 500 students in the past 2 years in areas such as digital literacy, Microsoft Office, Adobe, and IT specialists. And they've integrated these into courses such as IT for Business, Intro to Business, Financial Accounting and Fundamentals, Math and ICS, Communication Technology. And they use these credentials with SHSM and co-op programs, and they've proven that this program is a great way to make students' resumes more attractive. Looking into the higher education, undergraduate and graduate students at the University of Toronto participate in the Rotman Microsoft Excel Hackathon. So the hackathon is a chance for students to grow their technical toolkit with Excel challenges through CCI Learning's Microsoft Office course. The student with the highest score and the fastest time will win a cash award and certificate of achievement. CCI actually spoke about the Excel Hackathon during the Rotman International Trading Competition back in February, and we had quite a few schools asking if they could participate in the upcoming 2024 event, and some even asking if they can host their own hackathon. Finally, our partnership with the Lakeshore Project Management Institute. So we work with the lovely Beulah, who is a volunteer at the Mississauga chapter, to offer students the first stepping stone to becoming a project manager. There are chapters located all across Canada. However, Mississauga has really taken certification and ran with it. The PMI program is designed to test and validate foundational concepts and knowledge in project management. It's an entry-level certification that doesn't require any prior experience and can help learners take that first step to becoming a project manager. On the screen, you'll see the first student to take a PMI exam in Canada. Levin was studying engineering management at Waterloo and sought out the PMI certification to complement his diploma and stand out amongst his classmates. The PMI chapter invited Levin to speak on their podcast, and he spoke about how certification was able to boost his confidence and allowed him to take that first step towards his dream job in software development. Now that you've seen how other schools utilize the program, let's talk about how you can get involved. So CCI Learning is a reseller. So once you have purchased the licenses, you can resell them in any way that works for you. If you're in the academic world, you can embed the courseware and credentials into a program. It's very common to see them used in a business school. Some programs only teach a small portion of what's tested on the exam. So remember that we provide you with all the instructor resources. So it's easy to add in pieces that you may not be teaching or supplement what's missing with XEd as homework. For continued education and alumni, so because these programs can be self-directed, they fit well into the continued education as a standalone micro-credential course. The student is given access to the learning course and the practice tests and schedule a time with the test center to take their exam. They're also great to offer to alumni to come back and upskill. I know I get emails all the time from the Nova Scotia Community College telling me to register for new credentials that are applicable to the program that I graduated from. The bookstores. So even though your teachers haven't adopted the program, you can still make it available as an option for students to purchase from the bookstore. If the student sees the value and wants to pursue micro-credentials, they can do so outside of class time. PD days, so teachers love to learn too. So making micro-credentials available to educators will show them that you're invested in lifelong learning. Hosting a certathon, so inviting educators and students to attend a certification event is a great way to increase engagement, awareness, and retention of your program. For the corporate programs out there, companies have used the XEd benchmark during the hiring process to show competency in candidates. And they also use the program to upskill current employees with the intention of increasing proficiency or applying for other internal positions. In the government, when COVID struck, many organizations moved to a work from home model. And that's when our technology skills were really put to the test. Although we considered ourselves proficient in certain areas, myself included, Excel, Word, PowerPoint, we saw a lot of these gaps when we were forced to communicate with our teams online. So the government put funding in place to fill these gaps, and I've listed a few on the screen. So the Specialist High Skills Major is a specialized program that allows students to gain credits towards their Ontario Secondary School Diploma and focus their learning on a specific economic sector at the same time. And the SHSM is a Ministry of Education approved program. We also have the Ontario Preparing Students for Jobs of the Future. So the Ontario government is implementing a new high school graduation requirement to help better prepare students across the province. Starting with students entering grade 9 in September of this year, all students will now be required to earn a grade 9 or 10 technological education credit as a part of their Ontario school diploma. You can get involved as a community test center. This is a great option as an additional revenue stream. You can opt in to have your organization appear on the Certiport locator map. The map is used for anyone in Canada looking to take an exam. Your center will show up with contact information for that student, and you can run remote exams and charge for that exam and a proctoring fee. Finally, we have pilot projects. So we're offering anyone who wants to try the program with a class of up to 50 students, a complimentary XEd license to the course of your choice. Included with your pilot is a training session to ensure that you get off on the right foot. You can register for the pilot program on the eCampus Sandbox website using the QR code on the screen. And you'll be taken to the landing page where you can press the pilot tool button and let me know one full course you want to pilot. I'll be reaching out to you to confirm the details and schedule you for a training session. And Natalie will share the link in the chat as well in case you can't get a photo. If you're not quite ready to pilot with a group of students, you can select the request demo option, and I can give you access to the platform to explore Unit 1 of all the courses we have available. So thank you everyone for coming and participating today. My email address is on the screen. If you think of any questions over the next few days, I am going to hand it over to Mo for any closing remarks, and we will open it up for a Q&A.
Thank you, Jessica. This is great. As Jessica mentioned, you can share, you can scan the QR code that is shown here to open CCI Learning's product page in Sandbox portal and request for a pilot for 1 semester for free by clicking on the pilot tool and completing a simple form. I think we already dropped the link to Sandbox page in the chat. So we have some questions. Natalie, do you want to?
Yeah, we have a couple of questions coming in already. We have a question from Haiti that asking, do you have any skills related to engineering programs? I'm assuming Haiti is referring to any certifications or e-learning materials for engineering programs.
Absolutely. Let me get out of my screen here. So for the engineering students, Autodesk is typically where we see those engineering students going. So we don't, in XEd, we don't have a learning component yet, but we do have the practice tests and certification. So my recommendation would be to go here to the Certify tab, and you can see here the full list of all of the programs that are available in terms of the G-Metrics practice test and the certification. So I would download those exam objectives and see if it's aligning with what you're currently teaching.
Thank you, Jess. I have a question from Felicia asking, how do you assess the student's knowledge? Do you have summative graded assessments? If yes, who is grading them, and how do you handle the volume?
Yeah, absolutely. So I mentioned in Experienced Ed at the beginning, all of your students will go through a benchmark. So that benchmark, everything in the program is automatically graded. And then once your student has completed their lessons, essentially what the program will do during the lesson is it holds their hand, right? So if it's to save a file, it says press file, press save, and it will explain to that student step by step. Once they've completed their lessons, the program will then give them a project where it kind of steps back and it's like, okay, I've taught you everything you know, so go off and here's your project. Again, it's all automatically graded. And then once they've completed all of the learning components, there is a final assessment that is done at the end of the program. It's similar to the benchmark, and it will gauge you how far they've come since completing that course. In the Gmetrics portal, they will also be able to use their study guides, where once they've started completing these practice tests, it will break down for that student exactly what they scored wrong so that they know where to focus more of their time, because it might be a general knowledge of saving files, but there might be certain pieces that they need to work on. They can find the file button every time, but maybe they don't know where to save that file. So it will help kind of assess that student so that they can narrow in on what they need to focus on more. And all the Gmetrics is automatic grading as well, just so you're aware of that. Yeah.
I do have a comment here from Stefan mentioning that I'm very interested in using AI for adaptive learning. So do we. I believe that AI is one of the really hot topics right now. I'm sure, Jess, you mentioned there's AI based in or XED e-learning courses as well, especially for the benchmarking portion of it. Any comments on this?
That's right. So we are very aware how important AI is to have embedded into these products. So right now we have AI embedded into that benchmark. So as your student is answering questions, it's designing lessons just for that student, but it's also adjusting the questions as to what to ask next. If they score really well on a question that's hard, they know that they need to give that student more challenging questions. Whereas if a student can't answer the benchmark questions, the very basic questions, it's going to stick with giving them more of those simple questions to kind of gauge where their current learning knowledge is. But we're always looking for more ways to implement AI into our products. So if there's, something you'd like to see, keep in mind that we, CCI Learning, are the developers of Experienced Ed. So, if there's something that you want us to add that would be a really nice feature, please let us know, and I can share that with our content team as we're always updating the platform.
Thank you, Jess. Feel free to send in your questions in our Q&A section or in our chats. As we are waiting for more questions to coming in, Mo and Jess, any remarks for closing or any additional comments on the feedbacks that we got from the chat so far?
Yeah, we still have time for a couple more questions. Maybe let me just what type of instructor resources do you have at Experienced Ed? Jessica, maybe actually talk about that.
Yeah, great question. So if you actually go to the Sandbox site and you go under the educator considerations, you'll be able to see a full list of all the teacher resources that we offer. One of the cool things we offer is unplugged activities. So if you do have a student that doesn't have access to internet, they will still have some activities to do offline. We also included in your demo, you will have access to Unit 1 of all the instructor resources. So if you wanted to get a feel as to what our PowerPoint presentations look like, what our course mapping looks like, what the timing looks like, we will provide you with those teacher resources during your demo.
Sounds good. Thank you. There's another question from Tara. How would an institution start the process for purchasing a license to resell?
Yeah, absolutely. So you can either reach out to me directly if you wanted to kind of bypass your pilot and bypass the demo and just get started. Please email me, jessica@ccilearning.com, and I can send you a list of all the different types of programs we have and all the different prices that are associated with that. So the price will vary on how many students you're looking to bring into your program. And then what we do after that is we get you set up as a Certiport authorized testing center. So that is a place where we can go and we can put your exams and you can facilitate those with your students. But the exams or the licensing for Experienced Ed, it's what we do is once we do your fulfillment, we will email you all of your login information and get you and your team trained on how to use the platform and issue those codes to your students. Setup is like, it's very easy and it can happen very fast. Sometimes we see in school districts that they need 3 different levels of approvals before they can put something through. So sometimes that process can take a little bit longer. But if you're more of a smaller organization or a private school, typically it's pretty easy to get payment from your accounting team, and we can typically get you set up within a week.
Thank you, Jessica. And how do we know what credentials are available? What courses are available through Experienced Ed? It's another question.
Yes. So again, we have those actually on the Sandbox site as well. So if you go under learner considerations, oh, there we go. We have a full list of all the courses that are available. So we have the Microsoft apps, so Word, Excel, and PowerPoint, and they're available in both associate and expert. We have information technology specialists, so HTML and CSS, web developer, Python, and Java. Microsoft Certified Fundamentals, we have the Azure Fundamentals, Microsoft Azure AI Fundamentals, and the Microsoft Security Compliance and Identity Fundamentals. For Intuit, we have QuickBooks Online and Design for Delight. Digital literacy, we're working on the Global Standard 6, and we have level 1, 2, and 3, which is beginner, intermediate, I missed one, and advanced. There we go. And then we have our Project Management Institute. So we have the Project Management Ready course, Entrepreneurship and Small Business, and of course our Professional Communications. Now, we have just started releasing our courses as of January of this year. So we are releasing more in the upcoming months, as well as into next year. So again, if there's a program that you don't see, such as the Autodesk, it is something that we're working on and that we will have eventually.
Great, thank you. And lastly, can you give us more information about the digital badges and paper credentials?
Yeah, absolutely. So all of the badges are issued through Credly. So I'm on my profile here, so you can see all of the certifications that I've taken. So once I post one of these badges on social media, an employer is able to click on that badge, and it will tell them everything that I actually went through in terms of objectives to gain that. And you can see down here, I've got a list of skills that I can add to my LinkedIn profile and where people can go to actually read about that certification.
Great, thank you.
Fun. These are very addictive. Like I said, once you get one, you're like, okay, what other ones can I get? I want all the badges.
Super exciting. Paper credentials, do you have any information on that on the website as well?
Here, I have one. It's not on a website. Let me see if I can show you guys. So I have mine here. I know it's a blurred. I don't know if it's going to let me show you guys. Let me unblur my black background if I can. Anyways, it's a paper copy, and it's issued by Microsoft. And you'll see the Microsoft logo on there. But if you have a Canadian address, you will be able to receive a paper copy of the certificate. It normally takes about 6-ish weeks, sometimes a little bit longer. but you will receive that paper copy as well as a digital badge. So if you're going in for an interview and you have a portfolio, you can add these certificates to that portfolio. Yeah.
Sounds good. Thank you. I don't see any other questions here in the chat. That's great. Thank you, Jessica and Natalie and eCampus Ontario teams for supporting this webinar. This was one of the series of EdTech Sandbox webinars to support institutions with technology adoption, and we want to learn more about your experience. After the webinar ends, a survey page will open. We'd really appreciate it if you can provide us with feedback regarding today's webinar. We will also support a paid opportunity to evaluate CCI learning products. You can express interest in that by completing that survey as well. Thank you everyone again for joining this webinar, and we look forward to see you all again in the next one. Have a great rest of the day.
Thanks, everybody. Take care.
Everyone, take care. Have a great day. Bye-bye.